Hey guys, and welcome to another video. And today I'm going to share my secret recipe on how to make the great value New York matcha cheesecake with very simple ingredients you can find at your local Walmart. Now, if you ever really wanted to impress someone, I guarantee this is something you can easily do. So let's get into it, shall we? Now we're going to pick up some ingredients from Walmart. We'll need a box of honeygram wafers. We're going to use half the box. We'll also need 3 eggs. Unsalted butter, we're going to use a quarter of it. A whole container of sour cream. 4 whole bars of cream cheese. Some vanilla extract. We can go pure, but I'd love some great value. Cornstarch. Sugar. Now I couldn't find any more great value brands from here. We'll need some lemon juice for the topping. A cake pan if you don't already have one. This recipe will fill a whole 9-inch diameter pan. And finally, some matcha powder, which is optional. The best quality powder I found is the one from Costco. Unfortunately, I've never actually seen matcha powder sold in Walmart, so this will be the only exception. We'll start with the crust. We'll need to turn the honeygram wafers into little crumbs. I recommend throwing half the box, that's 200 grams, into a food processor. It will definitely save you some time. Now, if you don't have a food processor, you can always throw the wafers into a big Ziploc bag and crush them with a rolling pin, but it may take a longer time. We can add 3 tablespoons of sugar and mix well. Now we'll need to add about a quarter of a stick of butter. As you can see here, I'm already missing a quarter, so we'll just take the next one. Melt it in the microwave. And pour the liquid butter into the mixture and mix it very well. I recommend doing this in portions. And now get your cake pan ready. Preferably you'll have a non-stick one to use. If not, you can pre-grease it, but I believe the butter from the mixture will somewhat do it for you. This cake will fill exactly this amount, which is about 9 inches in diameter. In my opinion, it's a lot of cheesecake. I found it easier to use your hands to distribute it well. The key is to get a relatively thin layer on the bottom and to the sides, maybe about 3 or 4 millimeters of thickness. If you make it too thick, it will bake unevenly. Trust me, it won't taste as good. A trick here I use is to have a mug with a nice bottom edge to compress it down into the sides to get a nice consistent finish. Don't worry if you don't have enough crumbs to cover the entire height of the pan, unless you seek perfection. Now we're going to have to preheat our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. When it's ready, we can put our pan in, and we're going to bake for 10 minutes. Near the end, you'll notice the awesome smell of a baked crust. You'll probably say to yourself, am I just that good? As you remove the pan from the oven, you should see the crust being slightly darker and take on a golden color. You can put it aside at this point as we're pretty much finished with the crust. We'll now start making the actual cheesecake mix. You'll want to open up all 4 bars of cream cheese. I use a spoon to break it all up into smaller chunks and throw it all into a large mixing bowl. I find that the closer the cream cheese is to room temperature, the easier it is to mix. So if you find it's too cold, I suggest warming it up a bit. Now if you had a stand-up mixer, it would definitely speed up the process, but I'll show you here it can also be done by hand. Now add 1 1/4 cups of sugar. You'll find that the cream cheese will gradually get a bit easier to mix. Add 3 tablespoons of cornstarch and try mixing between each tablespoon to get a balanced mix. Add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And now we're going to add a total of 4 eggs. 3 entire eggs and 1 with just the yolk. Again, I suggest mixing between each addition. The eggs will actually make the mix a lot more creamier and more luxurious, if I can use that word. Here I use a handheld mixer once I feel the mixture is a lot more easier to stir. Remember to use a silicone spatula to scrape around the sides where the mixer can't get to. Now we'll take our tub of sour cream and we're going to scoop out 3/4 of it and add it to the mixing bowl. Later we'll use the rest for our New York topping. After mixing really well, you should have a nice, smooth, glossy mixture. At this point, you're ready to pour it into the cake pan if you wanted to. However, since we're going to take it up a notch, we're going to make it a 2-layer New York matcha cheesecake, which is super easy to do. Begin by pouring half of it into another mixing bowl. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of matcha powder in that half, but mixing well in between spoons. We're also going to make sure that we use a sieve, otherwise you're going to have a lot of green clumps that's hard to get rid of. Again, using a hand mixer makes the whole process a lot easier. Now first pour the matcha half onto the crust. And level it out a bit with a spatula. This will be our bottom layer. Now gently pour the other half on top. And since the mixture is quite thick, it won't mix with the bottom layer at all. Set your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. While we wait for it to heat up, we can now start our topping mix. Grab the remainder of our sour cream and throw in 2 tablespoons of sugar. Finally, add 2 teaspoons of lemon juice and mix it all well. We'll set it aside for later. When the oven has reached 400 degrees Fahrenheit, we'll pop in the cake pan and let it bake for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, we'll set the temperature down to 225 degrees Fahrenheit and have it bake for an additional 35 minutes. Now when that time's up, we'll shut off the heat and let it rest in there for just an hour. For the last 10 minutes, you can open the oven door to continue cooling it down. At this point, you can remove the cake pan and really take in that golden aroma of fresh bakery. You may notice some surface cracks, which is normal. We'll be covering it all up with our topping mix that we made earlier. Here I use a spoon to smoothen it all out evenly. Now, I like to further embellish my cake by sprinkling some more matcha powder on top. The amount is totally up to you. Set the cake aside to cool it down further so that we can place it in the fridge. Let it chill for a few hours, or overnight even. Now once the cake is cool enough, you are ready to serve. Cheers, guys. That's good. That's it, guys. Let me know how yours turned out by commenting below. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. If you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing to this humble YouTube channel. All right, cheers.